morning, Facebook Live. And a little hot subject that I wanted to talk about this morning. I'm on time. Normally, if I'm late, and I want to get out of that stigma. I want to be on CP time. That means color people time. Thank you for tuning in. Allow me to come into your space, whether that be your work, your home, your car, or even just in the privacy of whatever you're doing right now. I'm going to share this video on Facebook Live. I wanted to say it on YouTube because my Facebook is just keep acting up, and so that gives me an opportunity to be on YouTube more and more. So I appreciate you guys coming in, listening to me. I want you to share the video. I need you guys to comment on the video, um, even if you don't agree with me. I don't know everything, and I just want to shed some light on the pastors, the politicians, the policemen, the military men, and these are male dominant positions or professions, if I may say. Yes, pastors, because pastors in this day and age, they work for a salary. So that is correct. And I'm going to, as my partner Vera Giles Norris says, let the cat out of the bag. And I got to do it. I got to do it. Anybody know me? I'm a stand up guy straight up and down. I love to tell the truth, even if it cuts me up, and I'm not perfect. And well, let me explain something. Let me tell my YouTube audience and my Facebook audience a little bit about me. I never once claimed to be perfect, but I claim to be perfect in love. I have a perfect love for my brother and for my sister. There's not one person that you could bring before men and God to say that I hate him. Now, because I don't hate you, that don't mean I have to go along with your lifestyle and your wrongdoing. There's a difference. We have to separate that. So we want to get back basically about men, the policemen, the pastors, the politicians, the military men abusing their powers, and especially toward women. Women have always been looked on in our society as a second class citizen, as a woman is you stay home, have the babies, be quiet, do what I tell you to do, and things like that. Well, as a black man, most of us don't have the luxury of having our woman to stay at home, and we are the breadwinners. Most of us. So I want to talk a little bit about the abuse of power that men display on women. And pastors, politicians, policemen, military men, you guys are known for taking advantage of women and when you're in these positions of power. Now, a friend sent me some things over this morning that was kind of interesting, and I'm gonna read a few points off that she sent, and one of the points that she brought out was she said fertilization with subordinates is unlawful, and leadership is at taught this during their annual sexual harassment training. And she is a military person, ex-military person, and the police department and the military law enforcement, they share some of the same doctrines, teachings, policies that go on. And point two that she brought to my attention was a woman in a male dominant environment are placed in situations where both men and women alike in power have often used their own sexual game. Now, we've heard a lot of stories. Even we're going through one right now in the city of Chicago with Eddie Johnson and others. Eddie Johnson going through a case like this where alleged that he promoted this young lady that he had a relationship with on the job with. And, he promoted her to his detail. And I guess when word found out, he transferred over. But, I mean, you got pastors like that sleep with women because they know they can get away with it. And one thing let me say about this, about men of power. When women are attracted to men with power, and men, we often get in trouble when we let our little head beat our big head, and I'm trying to keep it clean as possible, people. And we have to be careful not to abuse our authority that God places us or allow us to be in for sexual gain, sexual favors. And a lot of men have fallen by grace because of sexual advancements and sexual harassment and things like that. And it's real. And let me say this while I'm in this. I said it once, I'm not perfect. But one thing about what Martin Johnson don't do, when I see a man fall and stumble or public embarrassed, I try not to glory in that. Because I'm one mistake away from falling and losing power. One mistake, not two. And it's by God's grace that I'm in the position that I'm in now. And without any accusations and mishaps. And it can happen. I got to say that. I had to say that. She brought out another point. Point 3, she said, women know better, but if they do not go along with the boss, they typically cave in only to survive. A lot of women out there, and you're listening to me, you got these big, beautiful homes and luxury cars, and you're sending your children to the finest private school and institutions and all these things. And your boss is hitting on you. And you have an option like, well, do I go along with these sexual advancements? Do I report them and do I look bad or, have a hard time in the workplace? It happens, people. This is real. It happens in the workplace. We call it sexual harassment. Saying little things like, hey, baby, you sure enough look good. What you doing tonight? You want to get with me? And that's men. And men, we are physical. We like smart women. We like sexy women. We like women with big booties, thighs, and tits, and long hair, and brains, and all those things. But at the end of the day, we have to be professional. Professional is not go there. Leave your personal comments to yourself. Leave your hands to yourself. Don't strip the woman with your eyes. Yes, she's beautiful. It's okay to say, hey, how you doing? But people, when we go below the neck, that's when we get in trouble with the women, brothers. Now, we know some women are willing to do any and everything just to make it and get to the top. And we have to be careful of those women. Brothers, sisters, you have to be careful flirting with the men, leading the men on. Then you turn around, you don't get what you want, and you feel like that you've been had and used and abused, you go report them. So this goes a two-way, it goes back and forth, not just the men of power and an authority, but women that's trying to get some power or men that's flirting with women. We've got to put the brakes on it. You have to be professional. And what I try to do as being professional, I try not to mess with nobody that I'm working with, living around, and things like that. And just to keep it going to school with, to keep it, keep those things down from happening. But it can happen to any of us. And a lot of women have been taken advantage because men of power, pastors, politicians, bringing these young ladies in and making them your secretary, sleeping with them, making a promise with them, bringing them in on your campaign. Military men, tell them you can get them a promotion if they sleep with you. Pastors, you can ordain them if they sleep with you. Talking about women. I don't want to forget the women in power too, because you can use this same abuse of power for yourself too. So I got to tell the truth and shame the devil. It's too much of that going around, abuse of power. And a shame on you preachers and you pastors abusing your power. You ought to be a moral example to the policemen and to the military men. And that's why we have a lot of lawsuits. We have a lot of men that's retiring early. Retiring early, people. Somebody said my volume is low. I'm so sorry, but everything's working on this end. So, people, I love being black. I love my black people. But we have to be right about one another. We have to do right by one another. And it's in a man's nature to look at a woman. But it's also by God's given rights in our nature to treat and respect our sister without looking at them with Google eyes, stripping them, saying sexual advancement things, sending them emails and texts, ungodly sexual texts. Oh, I got to tell the truth. You have a lot of sexual allegations, as my sister told me, in the military that goes on. Abuse of power. A lot of sexual allegations goes on in the church, in the religious world. And I know you have a lot of sexual allegations in the police department all around the United States, as well as politicians resigning because of sexual abuse. Abuse of power is going on every day. But sister, don't fold. Keep your morals. Keep your morals. Whatever God has for you, it is for you. Whatever position of power that he elevates you, that he promotes you with. Don't give in. Stand strong. Because if a man give it to you, he can take it away. But when God elevates you to that position, God is the only one that can remove you or your bad behavior that can remove you. Oh, y'all know I'm telling the truth. I got to tell the truth and shame the devil. Somebody said my message is not clear. I'm so sorry, people. I'm trying to speak as clear as possible. I'm talking about pastors, preachers, politicians, policemen, military men, abuse of power when it comes to women, sexual harassment. Somebody said the volume is low. I don't know what's wrong with my phone. My phone gonna have to go into Apple today. They're gonna have to check my phone or something. But I am so sorry, people. But I mean to tell the truth and shame the devil. But I'm going to leave this here. It's so much more that I can say. But I hope I've said something to enlighten your understanding, to help what you're going through. Black love, black unity, black power to the last hour, race first. And people, do not abuse your power because it may be her today or him today and you tomorrow. Peace out, people. One love.